Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fearless Floyd Show. As always, I am your host, Fearless Floyd. And we are still honoring the $1 for LeFlore's softcover books. So if you want to pick up the Specialty Trust or any one of the other books, just hit me up. Tonight, we're going to talk about a word that I have spoken about a lot. If you follow me, then you've heard me talk about it before. So, a funny thing about FEMTO Technology, a real funny thing, but we'll get to that in a minute because some things I wanted to show you real quick. I'm going to go pull it up for you. Today was a surreal day for me. Come on, open up. There we go. This is me at the Houston Police Department West Side substation. And sitting here next to me is my high school classmate, team member on the football team. He was my wide receiver, believe it or not. And he retired from the Houston Police Department today after 40 years of service. Isn't that crazy? Let me get back over there to it. There's the other one. Whoops. Chemtrail. That's what he looked like way back when. But Charlie's younger brother, Ray Hunt, is the executive director of the Houston Police Officers Union. He's the former past president. And I just missed Ray. It was real weird going in to a different entrance and hanging out with all these cops. So, me and Charlie got a big laugh out of it for sure. Very, very fun. Gifted him with Anne LeFlore's On Trust book. Like, you're retiring, bro. Take care of your assets. So, it's been a fun day for me. And he even said, man, hey, get you a plate of this barbecue and take it home. So I did that. I would have ate more, but I was going to the gym and I didn't want to be too full. So I'm going to start probably another channel on YouTube all about my health and fitness, me working out in the gym, nutrition, supplements, diet overall in general, different products that I use, whatever. So I don't know when I'll get that set up, but I'm definitely going to do it. I've already got some stuff shot for that. So this Saturday, Anne LeFlore is going to do her trust workshop down here in the banner. Oh, that's the wrong one, right? Yeah, that's the wrong one. That's the one I just did. Oh, here it is. Oh, no, that's it. So anyway, y'all can read that while we're talking. But she'll have her trust workshop, and she actually gave everybody a template last Saturday and told them to bring it back, and then everybody will start creating their own trust in this workshop. So if that's something you want to be a part of, come hang out Saturday, March 21st at 7 p.m. On Telegram. We have a group specifically for that. So if you don't know how to get onto it, and I don't have the link here, sorry. I've just been really pressed for time the last month, as always. Nothing new there, right? But also on Saturday, March 21st at 1 p.m., you're going to see right here, it's talking about Ann's will conduct her trust workshop on Saturday. But my buddy, and fellow Texan, private investigator, and forensic auditor, auditing credit, finances, anything like that. So have him on here in a minute. He's going to do a pop in and tell y'all more about it. But that's available this Saturday at 1. Securitization is the topic. And like I said, he's going to pop on here in a couple minutes and we'll talk a little bit more about it in length. So if you want to pick up Ann LeFlore's On Trust book or the Specialty Trust book, the softcover books, or the ebooks, get them while they're hot, because the soft covers and the ebooks will be discontinued once the current inventory stock is depleted. So once those are gone, the books will no longer be available. They will all be broken down into individual trust books, as we've already begun with the revocable trust, the irrevocable trust, so on and so forth. We have the land trust, the foreign trust, we already did charitable trust, charitable remainder, and the college education trust. So those will be individual books. Looking forward to that happening. Oh, I haven't even had time to go look at my own website. And it's been totally redone. And apparently, from what I've been told, it is spectacular. And again, I even have time to click on it and go look at it. That's how pressed for time I am. I know. Isn't that insane? I remember I used to tell myself when I was in prison that, I'd kick back, God dang, man, I don't have enough time in the day to do everything I need to do today. Jeez. Because I was always meeting deadlines when it came to my legal endeavors. But as I was watching this video from this scientist from CERN in CERN, Switzerland, if you don't know what that is, that's where the Hadron Collider is at. And boy, did she have something to say. And, it only took me 4 minutes for listening to what she had to say until I was like, whoa, did you hear that? Because I heard it. And for most people, it just went, whew. They didn't even catch it because they couldn't correlate the two issues. So I'm going to play the video for you. And it's 7:09. Yeah, let me start the video. I don't see Joe in the background.
I have many witnesses who are very reliable, who told me that under the lake, there is one of the main CIA bases. There is a city under the lake that is more than 300,000 people. What can you tell me about those 17 dimensions? How far did you explore? That's when they talked about the portal. They described that they are time portal. They're going to subatomic levels, this Mandela effect. They put the news and they said, no, it was always there, and you start doubting about your cost.
This is a Swiss scientist who worked with the WHO for years, including radionuclear emergencies. That work brought her close to CERN, and it gave her access to information from the inside. And she decided to speak out. The lake she's talking about is Lake Geneva, right next to CERN, on the border between Switzerland and France. Now, I know this sounds insane, but while I was researching this video, I found a clip of journalist Ross Coulthard, and I wasn't expecting what they found.
That's the spot. You're getting really strong metal right there. Look at the picture on here. It's a three-dimensional image. It's showing a cavity. This is the exact spot that I picked as my primary target here. The exact spot, standing right over it. There, it'd have to be at least 8 foot.
Oh, right, okay. Right, so it's a big hole.
That's a fairly big screen of cavity.
This location is near Sedona, Arizona, close to a place called Bradshaw Ranch. Officially, the land is part of a research project run by Northern Arizona University to study plants and climate change. But people who have investigated the area for years say the activity there doesn't look like a normal research site. The land around the ranch is fenced off and heavily monitored, even though the surrounding area is public. Independent investigator Jeremiah Horstman has studied the region for more than a decade. He says people exploring the nearby canyons have reported armed personnel, frequent military helicopters, and strange lights in the sky. Horstman also suggests that the unusual activity in the canyon could be linked to a natural anomaly in the area, something he describes as a possible portal. And apparently, that's not the only example. In another video, Ross Coulthard says these portals exist across the United States and sends a direct message to the US government.
I've just been somewhere in the United States where I know there is another portal. And I know the United States knows about it. And I was there just the other day. And guess what? It's got a big fence around it, lots of security signs. It's supposedly US Forest Service. You know what? It's not. And it's supposedly ancient ruins of tribal art. And you know what? It's not. What's happening is that the United States is using the US Forest Service and claims of the protection of archaeological relics to keep secret from the public a portal on US soil. I've been to the location. I'm told that there is technology that is being used to try to deaden the efficacy of the portal to stop things coming out or going through. I know it all sounds like something out of science fiction, but believe me, the United States knows a hell of a lot more about portals and interdimensional technologies than it cares to admit. I'm at this stage not willing to disclose the location of the portal or portals that I'm aware of, but believe me, it's an extremely sensitive, highly guarded, secret military facility. Don't try and access there if you're speculating about where it is. You'll get killed.
Dr. Astrid is saying similar things are happening at CERN.
There are beings from portals coming in and out.
Beings coming in and out of portals.
Yes, they have apparently in the bottom of the CERN this portal, this door where they are dealing with all the subatomic dimensions.
They're actually summoning. They're summoning entities to come in a portal.
And this is just the beginning, because there are multiple facilities around the world. And between 2006 and 2010, something strange happened at several of them simultaneously. Shortly after, the Mandela effect appeared. Small changes in people's memory. But before we continue, one quick clarification.
The carrots and red celery on the counter. Okay.
I'm frozen, Joe. Let me reset it. All right, I'm moving. Hey, I got Joe backstage. Let me get Joe on here. How you doing,
Hey, everybody. We're doing good.
Good to talk to you again.
Hey, good seeing you, Floyd. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's that time of the year where everybody's, trying to decide what they're going to do. And with a lot of crap going on, now's time, take a look at your docs, take a look and see what people want to do. And that's what we're here for.
Right.
So we're having a free securitization seminar this Saturday at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. And we're going to go over a plethora of things. We're going to be going over agency, principal relationships, because a lot of people are confused. They think that they know, but they don't know. A lot of people are questioning, how come there's only one signature on the docs? Doesn't a contract have two signatures? So there's just so much stuff we're going to cover, and very educational. I mean, whether you're someone that's advanced or someone that knows nothing. And a lot of this can be talked about and spoken so laymen can understand, even though we speak in legalese a lot of the time. We're going to have a lot of good information. We're going to have everything from state statutes, federal statutes, We're talking about what was to happen, what did happen, what did not happen, pursuant to statutory requirements of law, because that's the biggest thing. Right now, out of the 50 states, we've got, I think, 31 states that are title theory. We've got, I think, 19 or we've got 31 states that are title theory, 17 states that are lien theory, and one state that is security deed, which is the state of Georgia. And what people seem to forget is that if you got a deed of trust and you go into default, they will foreclose. Okay. And the reason they're going to foreclose is because you're in a title theory. Okay. So when you look at your documents, there is a trustee named in your deed of trust. So that means that there is already someone with legal title. The homeowner has what's called equitable title. They get to use the property. Okay. But the trustee, again, he acts on behalf of the beneficiary, all right, or the lender or the investor.
Right.
But what's crazy is nowadays, if we were to go back, say, in 07 and 08, when we're looking at these notes, okay, we're getting notes with 2, 3, 4 endorsements. I've got an investigation I'm doing now, and I've got 7 assignments of mortgage in the state of New York. I've got another property. I've got 10 assignments of mortgage. I mean, totally ridiculous. So we're going to cover a lot of stuff. Whatever anybody wants to talk about, we'll bring it up.
The description will be in the the Zoom link and all the information will be in the description of this video. I haven't put it in there yet.
Perfect.
But I'll put it in there. Absolutely.
Yeah. And if anybody's got any questions, all they got to do is pick up the phone. They can email me. They can call me, because what we're trying to do, Floyd, is like you, we're trying to educate everyone to the best of our ability, because there's a lot of people out there that talk a good game, but they really don't know, their ass from their elbow.
Right.
We've got people in common that we know, they talk a good game, but then you're like, okay, so where did this information come from? You must have just pulled it out of the air.
Right.
But when we're talking about, whatever we talk about, everything that we talk about is supported. So if we're talking about your loan, we're going to be very specific, because when people speak about a loan in general, all right, they're not thinking that your loan has more than one document. So we have got a note, we've got a deed of trust or a mortgage, all right? And then when you're talking about the note, we've got 2 parts to the note. So the note is both tangible and the note is intangible. And nowadays, everybody, it's like, see no evil, do no evil, hear no evil, but all the evil is being done all around you.
Absolutely.
So what we're going to do is, bring everything to light. And it's going to be quite interesting, because, we get a lot of crazy questions sometimes. Everything from servicing to, does the servicer really own my loan? No, they just service the loan.
Right.
So it's getting people then. That's it. And when we're looking on all these docs and you're looking at public record, what people don't have that understanding is, Floyd, is that if you request a copy of your note from your loan servicer, okay, if your debt was sold, okay, then it should have been sold along with the note being tangible.
Right.
And we should be able to look at these docs and see an endorsement. And then at the same time and in parallel, there would have been an assignment. Okay, because the purpose of the assignment is to memorialize transactions pertaining to the sale of the tangible promissory note and the acquiring of rights.
Chain of custody.
Chain of custody. So if that chain of custody does not match public record, you've got some funny things going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Joe, a lot of people don't know who you are, so tell them how long you've been doing this and how long you've been a private investigator, a little bit about your background.
Okay, so I'm 67. I've been doing PI for the last 15 years. So prior to this, being a private investigator, I was a union contractor in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we were doing phenomenal. Long story short, they pulled the rug out from underneath us. We went from, making just under, 7 figures by the end of '08 to suddenly filing for bankruptcy and, being left on the street almost.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I mean, when you're talking, you sign a $250,000 deal with the city of Las Vegas. You got a brand new 10,000 square foot office and warehouse. I've got just signed 15 or 20 Jiffy Lubes in Cali. We're working down at City Center, which is the largest construction site in the United States at that time back in '08 and '09.
Right.
And then suddenly MGM says, well, we can't pay it for 6 to 9 months. So when, they say that and you're like, well, I'm floating between 30 and 50 grand a week. And suddenly they pull the rug out from underneath you. It's like, you got to cut your losses.
Yep.
And so Tiffany Decorating says, oh, we'll wait a year to get paid. No big deal. I mean, hell, they gross a couple of million a year, but I can't float that.
Right.
And I had no idea. Right? I'd had bonds since, so I'd been in the painting industry since 1976. Started my very first company when I journeyed out. So around probably 1979, I started my very first company. And I've had bonds ever since then, but I never had a bond call. And I'm going to tell you, it is some scary stuff because I thought that bonds were like insurance. Nothing could have been further from the truth. So
Okay.
what happened, we put up bid bonds, we put up performance bonds, but never having a bond call, you don't think about things. It's like, all right, I got insurance. Somebody, an employee runs through a wall or something, you got a couple of grand in damage. All right, that's what you have $1 million of insurance for. And
Right.
so on these bonds, for performance bonds and, bid bonds, I'm thinking it's like insurance. I'm covered. That's why I'm paying all this money. No way. So what happened is we had people, because we had to pull off the job, and, I marched 12 guys down to the Department of Labor and signed everybody up for unemployment. And when I was there, I asked, hey, can I collect this? I've never collected, before. And they said, well, you ever paying? I said, yeah, every damn week. So when they pulled all my records, they said, oh, Mr. Esquivel, you can collect for the next year and a half. And then I started my education and doing what I do today.
Okay.
But
Wow.
understand, when they file a bond on you, right? When they, let's say, like we were in City Center and Dunn Edwards puts a bid in, and we owe them like, I don't know, like $35,000 for a month of paint. So they've got an invoice in to the bond company. Well, guess what? When Joe Esquivel can't pay that invoice, the bond company pays the invoice. And then the bond company sends you an invoice. And when you don't pay that invoice, Floyd, guess what? They sue your ass. So I owed the Painters Union, health and welfare. I owed vacation. I owed pension fund. I owed apprenticeship fund.
Owed everybody.
Yeah, so I'm into them for like $250,000. So I had everybody to my bankruptcy.
Wow.
And yeah, it's some scary stuff because you're thinking that this is what I paid money for.
Right.
But no, when they come after your bond, buddy, that's it. And they sued me for it.
Wow.
Okay. So then I was forced to put the bond company, the painters union, the crane company, all these different companies in my bankruptcy as well. And then I had the same thing that, as you hear from a lot of your clients, I had used my personal credit to indemnify my C Corp. We set up our C Corp proper. That was, one of the best things that I did. I set me up as an employee. I didn't set me up as the owner. So,
Right.
when we went and did our bankruptcy, okay, my biggest thing was I had to meet the threshold because I filed a full-blown Chapter 7. And I made it by the skin of my teeth, but I made it. Okay. And I'd initially hired an attorney like everybody else does. And then as I'm getting into this, I'm like, wait a minute. She's saying that my debt's secured. My debt wasn't secured. Where the hell is she coming up with this crap? So I found out that my debt was sold to Fannie Mae. So what did I do? I've got my note. Nobody's named to my note. I go to public record. There's no assignments to Fannie Mae. So I told my attorney, I said, listen, I need you to change that. You have me down on Schedule D as in dog as secure. I said, I'm not secure. That's an unsecured claim. Well, I'm not going to change it. You know, it costs you a couple $100 and I'll change it. Well, that weekend I was at my buddy's house, and Chris is an attorney. He's a lawyer, but he was not my attorney. He was my friend. So I made over at his house doing some things, doing some painting for him. He said, Joe, come over here. And I go over to his computer. And I click on this. I clicked on these files, and all of a sudden all these papers open up. He said, you know, Joe, for $25, you can amend your own bankruptcy and do it yourself. And my eyes just, the light bulb just started going off on top of my head, just flashing. I'm like, snap. That's it. Understand. 2 days later, I amended my schedule, right? So you get Schedule A, which is a summary of schedules, and then from Schedule B all the way through Schedule J is you put all of your assets.
Right.
So I amended my schedule. I said, no, this loan is not secure. This is an unsecured loan. Goes on Schedule F as in Frank, unsecured. And they were unable to lift my stay for 2 years until my bankruptcy was discharged as an unsecured debt, and I put a renter in my house for the next 5 years, Floyd.
Wow.
Now, I had to leave Las Vegas because the AG came after me because, we had, started doing what we did, investigating, and we had purchased an investigation company in Austin, Texas. But in the state of Nevada, you're not allowed to work with anyone in foreclosure unless you're an attorney or nonprofit.
Oh, wow. Really?
So, yeah. So we spent $5,000, formed a 501c3 from scratch. Everything is on the up and up, to the T. And what most people don't understand is the bureaucracy. I mean, look at how they went after Trump. Okay. They came after all of the people that were assisting homeowners with the same ferocity, right? The same fierce, they're going to kick everybody's ass.
Yep.
And so they didn't give a rip if it was being done correctly or not.
Right.
So they had sent us the AG, Gorstan, or what's it? Forget her name. It was a woman. And, but she sent us a cease and desist. So the attorney answered it, sent us a second cease and desist. Attorney answered it, sent us a third cease and desist. And when they sent us that third cease and desist, Floyd, it said, Mr. Esquivel, if you are still in business in 30 days, we are coming in and we're going to confiscate all of your files, all of your equipment, and we're going to fine you $25,000 per file.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, Floyd, it scares the crap out of you. Literally, it scares the crap.
Yeah.
I ended up packing up, 3 families, and we moved all 3 families to Austin, Texas. We left 2 families still in Vegas because they didn't want to move, but it wasn't a choice. I had to leave my 16-year-old stepson.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm limited on time tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's
Well,
fine.
listen.
Well, I haven't heard that story, so it was, I was knowledgeable. So 1 o'clock, how long are you going to do the Zoom?
It's probably going to be about an hour and a half.
Hour and a half? Okay.
Yep.
You're going to do a question and answer?
We're going to do question and answer right after we get done. After I get done talking, we'll open it up and take all questions from everyone.
Okay. I have a lot of people who are going through some foreclosures and mortgage issues. So
Well-
y'all all tune in this Saturday. Hit me up. If you can't find the Zoom link anywhere, email me, fearlessflowshow@yahoo.com. You can always call me and text me on my phone. Works 9 to 9 Central Time. Joe, thank you very much. I'll see you
Floyd,
Saturday.
thank you.
Yeah.
You have a great day. Thanks, guys. Be awesome.
Exactly. Be awesome. There you go. All right. So let's dive back into the Wikipedia and let me share my screen. I believe I'm up. And I just want y'all to hear this just quickly one more time.
Things are happening at CERN.
There are beings from portals coming in and out.
Beings coming in and out of portals.
Yes, they have apparently in the bottom of the CERN this portal, this door where they are dealing with all the subatomic dimensions.
They're actually summoning. They're summoning entities to come in a portal.
And
On the subatomic level. Let me re Okay, I'm back. FEMTO Technology. They're talking about the subatomic level. Hang on. Good. I'll go outside. All right. Here we go. All right. Now I can focus. So what they're talking about is FEMTO technology on the subatomic level. I don't know why my mouse is tripping. There we go. This is Wikipedia on FEMTO technology. And right here it says FEMTO technology is a term used in reference to the hypothetical manipulation of matter on the scale of a femtometer or 10 to the 15th meter. This is 3 orders of magnitude lower than pico technology, which is the atomic level, and then 6 orders of magnitude lower than nanotechnology, which is the buzzword that everybody's using these days. But I've been telling everybody for at least 3 years, if not 4 years, about femto and pico technology. Here's the theory. Work in the femtometer range involves manipulation of excited energy states within atomic nuclei, specifically nuclear isomers, to produce metastable or otherwise stabilized states with unusual properties. In the extreme case, excited states of the individual nucleons that make up the atomic nucleus, protons and neutrons, are considered ostensibly to tailor the behavioral properties of these particles. The most advanced form of molecular technology, nanotechnology, is often imagined to involve self-replicating molecular machines, and there have been some speculations suggesting something similar might be possible with analogs of molecules composed of nucleons rather than atoms. For example, the astrophysicist Frank Drake once speculated about the possibility of self-replicating organisms composed of such nuclear molecules living on the surface of a neutron star, a suggestion taken up by the science fiction novel Dragon's Egg by the physicist Robert Forward. It is thought by physicists that nuclear molecules may be possible, but they would be very short-lived, and whether they could actually be made to perform complex tasks such as self-replication, or what type of technology could be used to manipulate them is unknown. Practical applications of FEMTO technology are currently considered to be unlikely. The spacings between nuclear energy levels and require equipment capable of efficiently generating processing gamma rays without equipment degradation. The nature of the strong interaction is such that excited nuclear states tend to be very unstable. So basically, FEMTO technology plays a critical role in a science fiction novel. It is a hypothetical, futuristic, non-existent technology. This is Pico technology. It's basically the same thing. Intended to parallel the term nanotechnology. It's a hypothetical future level of technological manipulation of matter on a scale of trillionths of a meter or picoscale. This is, blah, blah, 3 orders that way. So application, it's a term used by some futurists. I guess now I'm a futurist, to refer to structuring of matter on a true picometer scale. Pico technology was described as involving the alteration of the structure and chemical properties of individual atoms, typically through the manipulation of energy states of electrons within the atom to produce metastable or otherwise stabilized states with unusual properties, producing some form of exotic atom. I wonder what they're bringing through in CERN. Analogous transformations known to exist in the real world are redox chemistry, which can manipulate the oxidation states of atoms, excitations of electrons to metastable excited states, as with lasers and some forms of saturable absorption, and the manipulation of states of excited electrons in Rydberg atoms to encode information. However, none of these processes produce the types of exotic atoms described by futurists. So again, these are hypothetical, futuristic technologies that do not exist. Or maybe that they do. Donald Wilsh is the founder and primary figure associated with the company FEMTO Technology.us, which claims to have developed technologies operating at the picometer or femtometer scales. According to the website and related materials, Wilsh asserts that FEMTO technology involves manipulating matter at the level of electrons, protons, and neutrons, with the ability to add 2 to 4 electrons to elements from the periodic scale to create new materials. He claims that his company has been producing over 4,000 products for 20 years in fields such as agriculture, e.g. Pico AG4-N-1, medicine, cleaning, and chemical replacement. These products are said to be based on Pico technology, a term he uses to describe atomic scale manipulation, which he argues is already in use and not futuristic. However, these claims are not supported by mainstream scientific consensus or peer-reviewed research. Major scientific sources like Wikipedia, ResearchGate, and Reddit's futurology community treat FEMTO technology as a hypothetical or speculative future technology involving manipulation of subatomic particles like nucleons at the femtometer scale. Experts emphasize that such manipulation would require immense energy, face instability of nuclear states, and remain beyond current human capabilities, even with advanced AI. In summary, Donald Wilsh promotes FEMTO technology as an existing commercial reality, but this view contradicts a broader scientific understanding which sees FEMTO technology as a theoretical frontier with no known practical implementation. So I asked it, please show his U.S. patents. Donald Wilsh holds at least one U.S. patent under his name related to FEMTO technology. Here you can go to look at it. And boom, that's about when I talked to him, probably in March maybe of 2022. Like I said, for 4 years I've been talking about this because that's when I went and researched it, and that's when I found him. So additionally, promotional content from FEMTOtechnology.com claims that there are 3 U.S. patents, including one for agriculture, one for pharmaceuticals, and one for cleaning. So FEMTO technology exists. They're using it in CERN. You just heard a scientist describe specifically to you that they're using technology on the subatomic level. That's FEMTO technology, folks. And it's here. It's happening. And these, I don't know if they're psychopaths. I don't know what they're doing. But I hope you learned something today. If you found value in this, please like and subscribe, share, hit that notification bell on the way out the door. Don't forget the notice in here if you want to attend Joe's Zoom Saturday, 1 p.m. I'll put it in the description. Hit me up. If you want to do Ann's Trust Workshop, 7 p.m. Central Time, that'll be on the Telegram. It's probably in the description too. If it's not, I'll do it. So thank you, everybody. And I'll see you tomorrow night when I will be talking about my debate with KPRC 2 News Chief Meteorologist Anthony Yanez regarding cloud seeding, contrails, and chemtrails. Thank you, everyone. Good night.